Oh my god. I'm laughing because I had everything in a bag and I didn't quite remember all of them, so it's just such a mess.
What a pity.
I'm sure you've had problems as well, and I wanted to show you a few projects that never saw the light because they are so terrible that I didn't even bother finishing them. Let's have a look. The first one, many years ago when I started sewing, I went to the remnant box obviously, and I chose this stretchy remnant. I decided to make an A-line skirt with it, and it makes no sense at all. I made the waistband, it has the zipper on, but it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right at all. And I kept all of this because I thought that the fabrics could be good for something. I don't know what, because they are cut and so on and everything, but I didn't want to just throw them away. I didn't even bother finishing it or hemming it because I didn't like the pattern in the end. I thought it was quite a lot.
I don't know
what we can do with that, but let's keep it. The next three are a pity, four, because it's remnants I brought from Berlin when we went on our honeymoon. This is also, it's a t-shirt material and it is beautiful. It has all this fruit and it's really fun. But I chose it to make like a proper dress with a waist and a collar and everything. So it doesn't look right at all. When I tried it on, I thought, oh my god. And then I tried fixing it and I added elastic and a mess, just a mess. So I kept the fabric just to see if I could make something different. So now that I've showed you, I can start thinking about that. Then I have this one. This is one of these beautiful African patterns. It's really nice, one of these wax materials, and it's really pretty. I ended up using a little bit for the doorstop I made, and it looks really cute. But the blouse I was thinking to make doesn't, because it's not for this. It's quite thick and it hasn't got the shape I wanted it to have, and it's terrible. It looks terrible. The thing is about this is that you learn a lot. It's not the end of the world unless you have a really expensive material. This is another.
This is terrible.
This is a velvet, stretchy one. I wanted it to be really classy, like with a sort of 1920s vibe, crossed on top, and it has this really nice shape. I quite got the shape on the shoulders, of course, because it has a seam, but then it loses the shape so much on the chest and in the front. It's a mess. The thing is that on the mannequin, because it has this felt feel to it, so the fabrics never move on them. But when I took it off, it's just slime. It doesn't keep the shape at all. So I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I should have lined it inside or if it needed some interfacing, or if you know, let me know down in the comments what can I do to make the drapes stay, because I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if I can fix it anyways, because then I started doing stuff to it and sewing bits, and I don't know. Sometimes you need to know when to stop, don't you? Then I have this skirt. This was supposed to be a sort of 1990s kind of flowy skirt, but I made it quite tight, so it barely fits me on the hips. So I made everything. It was the first time I did buttonholes, so that was good because I practiced, and I lined it, but I think I chose a wrong material to line it with because it's a thick cotton and this is some flowy material that they don't go together, so I don't know what I was thinking. The good thing about this one is that I have another big piece of this fabric, so I might be able to do something else now that I've showed you. And then we have this. This is ridiculous. During our lockdown, I made 3 different tea cozies. In my head, I had this idea of a fairy tale English cottage, and it didn't turn out okay. It's just a mess. It's so bad. These fringes are from a basket I made out of an IKEA rag. The colorful one is from a pair of trousers I had that I made into shorts and kept the legs. And the green bit is from the armchair I upholstered. But all of it together doesn't look right at all. It's the design, it's too long, it's too narrow, the teapot doesn't fit in there. It's a bad design, a bad material choosing, bad everything. It's a mess. I kept it just to remind myself to be more patient, to choose things properly, but this was terrible. And then I have 3 things that saw the light because they were okay, I managed to save them, but aren't what I expected. One of them is this bag. I made this bag out of a primer, I think, if I remember well, a primer beach bag. And the material was quite difficult to sew because the needle would break it when sewing, and well, it's okay, it's quite nice though, but it's a bit small. I can barely fit my purse and my glasses in there. But anyways, the problem with it was the design. I had in mind that the top would cover the whole zipper area, and it didn't in the end. I don't know what I did wrong. I obviously cut it wrong, but it ended up being like this, so it's not what I expected, but it is nice anyway. I managed to save it, so I'm happy with that, but it looks a bit weird here. It's lacking something, isn't it? But it's quite pretty with all the colors. Then we have the pinafore. The pinafore I made for Christmas. The material is a dream. It's quite nice. It's a sort of Chanel tweed. It's really nice with a tooth-hounds pattern. And it's really pretty. The problem is that I cut it wrong. I almost died. It was supposed to be a full circle skirt, and when I cut the waist bit, which is only about this big, I cut a whole, I said it in the video, family size pizza, and it was terrible. I almost died when I saw the cut. I managed to save it because I saw it back again, and it ended up having this sort of, not waistband because it's from the waist to the hip sort of panel, but it looks nice anyway. And then I have another problem with the zipper, that you can really see it, you can see it a lot. And it's because it's white. I should have bought an invisible zipper, I don't know why I didn't. And the last one, which I showed, it's my last video, my latest video, is the Queen's Gambit skirt. It's a beautiful material, the quality is amazing, I'm quite happy with it, but the problem is the waistband. I didn't do the waistband right. I should have used some interfacing because it loses the shape a lot. The material is really heavy, so when you wear it, it sort of pulls down and the waistband doesn't hold it properly. So it's a pity. I should have interfaced it, and I should have give it less centimeters as well, because that way you help it stay in place. And another thing I should have done is to sew the waistband properly. I just sew it right sides together, and I should have done it first with not with the whole waistband, but with one side, and then fold and sew again. So that way the seam goes inside and you don't see it, and it's much nicer. But I didn't. I mean, it looks okay. From your point of view, it's really nice. And if nobody knows, it's really nice. But I mean, it has a few fail things, a few things wrong. Because of these two last projects I showed you include skirts I've done wrong, I want to make a skirt not next week or anything like that, for next month, the end of the month or something like that, because I want to make a skirt right. I don't know what's wrong with me and skirts, because I've done a few wrong, I don't know. It's such an easy thing to do, and I've messed up quite a few of them. So I want to give it another go and make a quite nice skirt with all the trimmings and toppings, icings, and I should do that. And apart from projects I can show you, there are a few things I'm doing wrong and I want to change. And that is, for example, about design. A few of these the handbag are a result of a bad design. I should plan things better, because sometimes I run like a crazy woman, and that's another of my problems. I'm quite a nervous person, as you can see, and sometimes I rush into things, and I should step back and think a bit more, or just a bit, think a bit. Another thing I have to change is that I have to use the iron a bit more. I should iron my seams, and I don't usually do it. I said it at the Good Habits at the sewing room, but then sometimes I'm rushing with the camera and stuff and I don't do it. So I should stop, take a minute and use the ironing. And related to that is using the wrong tools. For many months I've been sewing without the right fit. And it took me more than a year of the YouTube channel to go and get my new fit, and I'm really happy with the ones I've used so far. So it's something essential. I'm promising myself that I'm going to use the right tools from now on, because it makes your life so easy. And one thing that I don't have examples of but has happened to me is to cut on the wrong side, or to use the pattern wrong and end up cutting the bit that wasn't. The last time that happened to me was with a cushion. I was upholstering a cushion. I was this big pregnant and I did it wrong. I put the foam on top and cut it wrong. Then it has a strange shape, and when I tried putting it on, it wasn't there, so I had to add a bit and make a seam so it looked nice, and well, it looks nice, but it wasn't what was planned. So that's all. These are my fails. I don't know, maybe I have more that I have forgotten about, but I'll keep them for next time if I find them. And let me know them in the comments what's happened to you that you did wrong, or what mistakes you've made time after time. And if you know any solutions or you have any ideas for this, let me know as well. I'm open to ideas. And that's all for now. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything next week. Bye!
What a pity.
Let's have a look. Slime. Tight. This is ridiculous.